If you've already learned the basics of trading football on Betfair, it's time to move on to the more advanced stuff, and this includes looking at ways to maximize your profits. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 ways you can maximize or increase the profits that you make for little extra risk, including tons and tons of real-life trading demonstrations taken straight from Betfair. Does that sound good? If so, grab a cup of tea, coffee, or a cold beer, and let's get into it. So most newbies to football trading, when they get a winning trade, they just press the cash out button and then move on, which is absolutely fine when you're totally new to football trading. But as you build up your experience level and you start to get good at this, you're going to start to realize that maybe you're leaving some potential profits on the table by doing that, and you could be making a lot more out of your trades. So if you've subscribed to this channel or you've checked out a lot of the trading demonstrations that I've done on this channel before, you might have heard me mention something called profit potential. And I've had a few people actually emailing me and asking what that is. So I'm going to try and explain that right now. So the profit potential is the amount of profit that is potentially available to win from the trade. So if you back a price of 2.0 with £100, it's going to give you profit potential of £100. If you're to back 1.5 with £100, it's probably going to give you profit potential of £50. Now, one thing to keep in mind is obviously since we're trading rather than just having a bet, that we're often ending up locking in a fraction of that profit potential. Nothing wrong with that. That's the whole point. That's why we're here. We're here to trade, right? But at the same time, if you keep in mind the available profit potential when you're in the market and in certain situations, you realize that, hey, you might be taking only 40% of that profit potential when maybe you could squeeze out 60%, 70%, 80%, maybe even 100% or more in certain scenarios. And this is what this video is all about. So let me just quickly explain here. I mean, this is a basic lay the draw trade. We've laid the draw with £100 and we've now got the goal that we're looking for. So you can see here that the profit potential available is £100, okay, of green. That's the profit potential there. But the cash out amount, if we were to just exit this trade right now, is £60. So that means we're only taking 60% of that profit potential that's available if we were to just cash out now and exit the market, which leaves 40% on the table. And there are ways that we could squeeze a bit more out of the market, okay? As you're going to find out in this video. Trust me, it really is going to be a good one. Similarly, if you take a look at this screenshot, you'll see that in this current situation, I have £900 worth of green sitting on Liverpool, who at this moment in this trade are the underdog. This was that comeback victory against Barcelona. But look at my cash out amount is £332. Now, when I entered this trade, the profit potential was 1K overall, right? Now, if I was to just cash out right now and just take the cash out amount that's available, it's £332, which is about 33% of the profit potential that was on offer. So I'm leaving 67% of what I could potentially win. I'm leaving that on the table without attempting to try and make more from it. Of course, I didn't in the end, and I really pushed it far, and I took home £820, which is 82% of the profit potential that was available from the trade. So you see there's a big difference. I mean, the average newbie is probably taking that 33% when that becomes available. Liverpool are in a strong position and, yeah, nice profit and whatever. They're probably taking that. Whereas if you employ some of the methods that I'm going to show you in this video, you can significantly increase that profit and really try and race it. And in the end, you have to be very happy to take home 82% of your profit potential when you're trading sports. So this is what we're talking about in this video. We're trying to get you into the habit of trying to maximize your profits from every trade you do. And this is something that you really have no excuse not to do once you've built up a lot of experience in the markets as well. I mean, generally you'll find that gamblers, people who just want to have a bet or gamble, they're just happy to win without much consideration of how much they're getting in reward for their efforts, okay? And the last thing they're thinking about is whether they've extracted full value out the markets. Whereas as traders, and if we're good traders, we're here to try and take full value out of the market whenever possible. And by the way, if you haven't seen a full breakdown of this particular trade and some other similar ones, the link to that video should be on the screen right about now. If that isn't showing up, I know it doesn't show up on all devices. I'm going to put it in the description of this video as well. So definitely check that out. That was a really, really good video too. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 tips on how you can maximize your profits. I'm going to give you some real life trading demonstrations as well as we go along. So let's get into it right now. Let's get into tip number 1, and that is to race those profits. All right. Now, of course, it can be easy to just throw this line out there. It's very easy to say, right? It's harder to do. It's very easy to just say, hey, let's race the profits. Yeah, race the profits. You're going to make more money. Yeah, it's easier said than done. And when you're new to sports trading, the simple approach is just to cash out and move on. This is to keep it simple in your mind, build up your confidence, and all that sort of stuff. It's very important from a psychological perspective. But once you build out that experience, you need to think about racing those profits. And in order to win more, you have to be prepared to lose, or at least break even. Because what you can do very often in sports trading and football trading is when you get into a profitable position, you can sell the risk of the trade. So you take all the risk out of the market, and from that point on, you're just trying to maximize the full profit potential of the trade. And that's pretty much exactly what I did in that Barcelona trade that I just showed you there, where I took the risk out of the market and I tried to push it as far as I could. And in the end, got 82% of the profit potential over the 33%. And I remember when Saikov was sharing his trades during the World Cup, you could see this was something he was doing a lot as well. So, for example, you would do something like if you were laying the draw and then you've got the goal that you need, what you're going to do, instead of cashing out and equalizing the profit over all outcomes, you can actually increase your profits by simply only removing the liability from the draw itself. And you'll see that your overall profit potential is a little bit higher than whether you just cashed out. Now, of course, it still leaves a risk that the match could go back to being a draw and then you win nothing, which is why you need to weigh up this decision on a trade by trade basis. And like I said, you've got to be prepared to at least break even. I mean, you're not going to lose, but you might break even. And that's something that a lot of newbies, again, have problems with. They say, oh no, I had a chance to take the money, I never took it, and then I didn't make anything. And I kind of get the feeling talking to some newbies when that happens, that they feel like that's worse than losing. like they would almost just rather just lose rather than being in a position to take profit and then not take it and not make anything at all. But anyway, racing those profits, like I said, one of the big things that you can do is initially remove the risk from the trade and then try and squeeze as much value out of the trade as you can. And I'm going to give you a few real life trading demonstrations of exactly that right now. So this is a pretty basic example of what I mean here. So we've backed AIK here at 1.75 with a £100 stake, and it's given us like £75 of profit potential that we could win from this, right? Now they've taken the lead, so that's great, and the cash out amount is currently offering us £42. Now, just by removing the risk, at least from this, let me try and put that in the market. I mean, they've got a corner, so here's another quick tip as well, is that, you know, if you see the team you're backing get a corner, let the corner play out. They might actually just score from it. No, that's back in the goalkeeper's hands. Okay. So anyway, I'm just going to try and put this in to lay AIK and basically just remove all of our risk from the trade, right? So that's 1.23 we've got in. It's a trade from 1.75 down to 1.23 on the lay. And now you can see it gives us £52 there of green sitting on AIK. So it is like a £39, £40 cash out, or if we let it run an AIK win, it's a £52 win, which at this moment is £12. It's an increase of £12, right? But there is actually a 30% increase on the profit that you could be taking home from this trade as well. And remember, we've removed all the risk from the trade. So if it ends in a draw or Sheriff go on and win, then we're actually going to break even, which isn't the worst thing in the world. And a lot of newbies do have a struggle with, they get the goal and they immediately just want to cash out and lock in the profit, which is actually costing them a little bit of extra profit there, 30% or so. It's almost like leaving money on the table. But just take a moment, look at the match situation. If AIK have been the better team, they've been very dominant throughout the match, and you don't see them conceding an equaliser, then leave the profit sitting on them and let it play out for a bit. If the match starts to turn, then you could cash it out. But again, yeah, being in a rush to just cash out and take the money is actually costing you. And in this case, you could be taking 30% less profit. So we backed the home team in this one, Victoria Plzen, if that's how you pronounce it. I do apologise to any of the fans of the home team. But we backed them at 2.04 with a £100 stake. It gives us £104 of profit potential. And the cash out is offering us £71. So it's like kind of around 71% of that, right? So it's 82 minutes on the clock as well. Sometimes you could be tempted to just let it run in these situations and just ride it out all the way. But as football traders, I mean, we've got to try and stick to the principles of the whole thing. And by removing the risk, we give ourselves potentially £88 profit. So that is pretty much 88% of the profit potential. So we could take 75% of the profit potential or take the 88%, which is a fair bit higher profit potential. So yeah, there you have it, and then you're just going to let it ride out for a free bet until pretty much the end of the match. Obviously, if there's an equaliser and it goes to a draw, or Antwerp suddenly turn around and win this, then yeah, you're not going to make anything. You're actually going to break even. But that's the risk you have to take. If you're trying to race those profits, then these are the risks you have to take. Okay. Funnily enough, I was just signing out from that video, as you just saw there, when the markets went suspended, right? And then Antwerp actually had the ball in the net, but it was disallowed. So that would have been quite funny if that happened, as I'm trying to explain how to maximize the trade. But at the same time, I mean, this kind of gives you an example of exactly what I'm talking about. Now, in the beginning, if you're too afraid of being in this trade, getting in this position, and then not making any money, then this isn't for you yet. This is definitely much more of an advanced approach to trying to race the profits. Now, if this is your plan, where I've got in and I've said, you know what, this home team, they have been very strong. I think they're going to go on and win and hold on to this lead. Then I may as well try and maximize my profits by leaving the bigger profit amount on the home team. If it starts to get a bit hairy in the final minutes, I could still cash it out as well. But yeah, sometimes you have to just try and stick to your plan. But anyway, we'll see how this one plays out. We'll see if Antwerp do manage to nick an equaliser or not. Let's see. And this one's just finished. The full-time whistle's just gone on this one. So the home team won this, and so we made £88 profit instead of the £74. So it was an increase in about 20% of the profit by doing it that way. Obviously, it can be a bit of a nervous end, but if it's too much of a nervous end for you, then, like I said, this is probably too advanced for you. But if you've got all the basics down of football trading and all that sort of thing, then this is one of the options that's available for you. And increasing your profits by 20% is definitely not to be sniffed at. And there's ways of increasing your profit and your bottom line further as well. So we're involved in this match from the Europa League. Now, we backed the home team at 2.56, £100 stake, which gives us £156 of profit potential on that home team. Now, they've just taken a lead, the home team, and the cash out is offering us £87, okay? Actually, £92. So, I mean, it's not a bad cash out at all, actually, and not a bad return on a £100 stake from this sort of trade. But we could maximize our profit potential by just laying the home team with the same £100 stake here and removing all the risk from the trade, right? And that's going to leave us with £124 now of profit potential on the home team should they hold this result 1-0 and go on and win. And so it comes down to a decision that you have to make. I mean, do you just take this profit and move on, or do you potentially let it run and then you're making, quick math, I mean, what is this, about a 30-40% increase on the profit here, which is not to be sniffed at. So this is where the decision comes in. And I mean, if you want to try and win more, you have to be prepared to lose more. But in this case, I mean, it is a break even. It's a break even situation. So here we are. You can see the big difference in the profit potential now. I mean, we could lock in that £93, or we could let it run with £124 on the home team. And the times you want to do this is when the home team's been really dominant and you don't really see the away team equalising or anything like that. And then one thing to keep in mind as well is that you could just let this run for a little bit. Now, if the home team double the lead and go 2 goals up, then that's great. We can then pretty much let it run. But if over the next 5-10 minutes you see the away team get back into it and you start to fear that there could be an equaliser, you've still got the option of then cashing out as well. So it's always worth waiting 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes and seeing how it develops. And like I said, once you've removed the risk, nothing is at risk. This is something a lot of newbies have a hard time getting their head around. They just see the profit and they want to grab it. Whereas you could try and race the profits by doing exactly this, removing the risk, then seeing what develops. Now remember, this team was the favourite. They're now leading. They are the home team. There's a lot going in your favour and a lot of reasons to believe that they're going to hang on to this as well, or maybe even double the lead. So there you have it. That just shows you the big difference. I mean, cashing out there, £93, letting it run. You got a potential to increase that by a significant amount. And like I said, wait 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, see what happens. And here it was just a few minutes. And the home team has doubled the lead and now gone 2 goals up. And you can see the cash out amount is now £119. And we've got that £124 of profit potential. And I mean, yeah, you could cash out for a bigger amount. Or if you really, really want to try and race this profit, you could just let it run and say, do you know what? If the away team pull it back to 2-1, only then will I cash out and secure a profit. If it remains 2-0 or the home team go and score another one to make it 3-0, then I'm just going to let it run and I'm going to try and maximise and make as much of that £124 that we've got there as possible. So those are your options as well. I mean, it is a 2-goal lead as well. I mean, like I said, I see so many newbies just being like, all right, cash out, let me just get out. But keep in mind, I mean, if the away team pull it back to 2-1, we can make a decision then. But as it's 2-0, you may as well just let it run. So there's another tip. And sometimes it is about just trying to keep a calm mind in these situations. Football can be a bit of a hectic sport, and there can be a bit of a panic, and the markets and the numbers and all the money flying around and all that sort of thing. And your instinct is just like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to cash out and take that stress away. But really, you're in a position of strength. There's no reason to escape out of the market. So in this situation, you could just let it run. If it remains 2-0, we're going to make that. If the home team score more goals, we're going to make even more. If the away team pull it back, then we're going to take some action. But otherwise, we will be done with the trade. And the away team have pulled one back. So we've tried to give it a go. We tried to do what we could to raise the profits on this one and make that full 124. But in this case, the markets well, not the markets, but I mean the way the match played out didn't quite let us do it. So sticking to the plan now, we're just going to completely cash it out and make what we can. So it just goes to show that, I mean, we could have let it run. If there was no goal to the away team, we would have made that full 124. But on rare occasions, yeah, the away team is going to pull one back. And as you can see, there's no need to panic because we're still going to make a profit as well. And in those situations when a home team goes 2 goals up with like, how long was left? Like 10 minutes left. Usually I'm not worried. I'm happy to just leave all the money on the home team and see what happens, knowing that, hey, if it does go to 2-1, then I'll cash it out. But if it remained as it was, I'm just going to leave it. No need to take any action at all. So pretty good example there. You've actually seen a lot of the scenarios that can play out when you're trying to race the profits as far as you can. But in this case, we're going to avoid what's probably going to be a quite intense finish to this one. I'm sure the away team's really going to push for the equalizer. But we're just going to take the profit and move on to the next one. So in this match, Zaraya against CSK Sofia, we backed Zaraya at around 2.7, okay? Now, what's happened here is there's been a red card to the away team, and the price on Zaraya has steamed in dramatically, okay? So it's steamed in pretty nicely. Now, we can see is the cash out amount is currently offering us around £60, okay, if we wanted to just cash out as it is. But look at the price, it's 1.68. I mean, there's still a lot more ticks that we can gain. And just by removing the risk from removing all our liability anyway from the trade, you're going to see that we're going to put ourselves in a position where instead of having a cash out locked in profit now of £60, we've got a profit potential of £104, and now we've got no risk on all the other outcomes. And a lot is in our favour. Zaraya were the favourites for the match. They're now a man up as well, which is a big advantage, and there's like 65 minutes left as well on the match. So this is definitely a good opportunity to do something like this. We're not just going to take the money right now. There's still a lot of value and a lot of profit potential to potentially be gained from this particular trade. So just cashing out now for £60 would kind of feel like a mistake, because if Zaraya can take the lead, then this 1.69 price is going to steam in a lot lower as well. So there's a lot more money to be made. So that's something to be aware of, and it is a big increase as well. You know, £60 or £104 of profit potential there. So this is one of those situations where you're in a position of strength. The team you've backed is a man up, so you're better off removing your risk from the market and trying to race these profits as far as you can. And so we let this one run, and Zaraya finally took the lead. They just left it really late. We just left it there as a free bet on Zaraya, the £100 there. And they finally scored very late on. And you'd think I might just want to leave it, right? And try and maximize the profit potential. That's the whole point of this video. But Zaraya just had a red card in the aftermath of that goal. And red cards just make stuff really unpredictable. So this is one of those situations where, you know what, let's just cash out, let's just take the money. And you can see that we've maximized the profit. We could have locked in a smaller profit earlier on and just done that, but we left it as a free bet. We've got the goal we wanted. We were in a position of strength. We were never struggling because we removed all the risk from the trade. And we've ended up making a lot more of the profit potential that was available when we first entered the trade. So yeah, we just got the winner there. Better late than never. So we're involved in this match, Rijeka against Aberdeen from the Europa League, and we got involved in a later draw trade. We actually laid the draw at exactly evens. Rijeka looking very good, a lot more dominant than Aberdeen, looking likely to score, and the price of the draw was around evens at around the 60-minute mark. I mean, look, it's 63 minutes, so it was definitely seemed like a pretty good value position. So if you look now, we've had the goal to Rijeka, and you can see that we could lock in a £67 profit, right? But if we were to just eliminate the money that is on, or the liability from the trade, £18, put £18 on the draw there. Might even have to do that. It's going up to sevens. This is why the what if function is very handy as well when you've got that. But I'm just going to put that in the market anyway, and then we'll see. Let me just bring up the chart and show you that, yeah, laid the draw right around evens, right just before the goal, and the price has shot up to 7. And you can kind of see the difference as well. I mean, if we were to cash it out, we would lock in a profit of £70. But by leaving it like this, by removing all liability on the draw, we've increased that profit potential there up to £83. And we also have no risk on the market as well, which is what is very important as well. So This is something you could do where, look, we've laid the draw. The favourite we were expecting to score has scored. And as it stands, we fully expect Rijeka are going to go on and win this match. So they're going to win it 1-0. Maybe they'll double the lead. So we could make that extra profit, which is about almost a 20%. I mean, I'm trying to do some quick maths here, and this is changing. It's a £71 lock-in now. But it's almost a 10 or 20% increase, which is definitely a good example of trying to maximize those profits. And of course, if it goes back to being a draw, then we're not going to lose anything. We've taken all risk out of the market. So there is that thought that sometimes you get involved with trades like this and you remove the liability, but then it goes back to being a draw. And, you know, a lot of newbies get a bit annoyed because they feel like, oh, I had the money, I could have just taken the profit. But of course, I mean, if you want to make even more money, you have to you have to risk, you have to be prepared to lose in order to win, right? So this is an approach you could take if, you know, it's all going to plan. The team you want to win is winning. Just remove the liability from the draw, and even if it does go back to 1-1, you still got money there on the Rijeka and Aberdeen. So even if Aberdeen turn it around, you still got that profit there as well. So just another tiny example of how you can maximize your profits. So I hope you enjoyed checking out those examples there. We're going to move on to the next tip in just a moment. But I just want to say about tip number one is that there is no definite right approach for every single trade. You really have to take every trade on its own merits and on a trade-by-trade basis. There will be some situations where you want to leave all the profit on maybe the favorite if they're winning or something like that. And there'll be some situations where it's more sensible to just spread the equal profits across all the outcomes and try and move on. And as you build up your experience with football trading, you'll know when those situations are more and more. But let's move on to tip number 2, how you can maximize your profits. And this is, this is something that a lot of new traders definitely don't consider. And it is to look at alternate markets. To try and find potentially better prices. I mean, as we mentioned at the start of this video, we're trying to maximize the profit potential that we take home from each trade, right? But what if we could increase the overall profit potential per actual outcome? All right, so there's one thing backing a team at evens, but what if we can get a better price by kind of backing them in another market? And this can be achieved by looking for higher prices in alternate markets. Now, and just to put that tip on the screen as well, always constantly flick through the markets and see if better prices or better options are available. Now, if you're looking for goals, then consider, instead of backing over 2.5, you could back over 3.5, over 4.5. I mean, you're a football trader, so you're going to be looking for the same outcome, right? You're looking for a goal to be scored, you're looking for that price to move, and then you're looking to lock in a profit. But there's much bigger, juicier prices available on 3.5 or 4.5. And so your overall profit potential is gonna increase with that, and you got a chance of making a lot more than if you went in at the lower prices. Now, keep in mind, this is definitely a bit more advanced than the usual stuff. And also as well, I mean, instead of backing a team to win in match odds, you might sometimes find better prices for a similar scenario in the correct score market. But let me just head over back to the Betfair screen to show you more and explain exactly what I mean. So let me first quickly explain how to look to alternate goal markets to possibly maximize your profit potential. Now, this is Spartak Moscow. They're leading 2-1, so we've already had 3 goals in this match. So the next possible goal market could be the over 3.5, okay? So £100 stake just backing over 3.5, which would be pretty much just a bet. You couldn't trade out when this happens. But it gives you £52 of profit potential, all right? So if you look at the over 4.5 market and then backing that, the same £100 stake gives you £265 of profit potential. And the important thing to keep in mind is that we're not aiming to just have a bet. When we're trading a football, we're looking to trade, right? So we're looking for a goal to be scored, and then we're looking to trade out afterwards and take advantage of the odds movement, okay? Now, if you did think there was going to be a goal in this match and it was going to come pretty soon, I mean, yeah, you could go in on this 3.5 market, which gives you a limited amount of profit potential, the £58. But if you went in on this market, and the price is rising and rising and rising, it gives you a much higher profit potential. Now remember, as football traders, we need one goal to get ourselves in a profitable position. We're not necessarily looking for the extra 2 goals. But, you know, even going up to the over 5.5 market, the same £100 stakes gives you £1,400 pounds of profit potential to then play with, because obviously what you can do is you can remove the risk, you can leverage it, you can do all sorts of stuff to try and maximize your profits as a football trader. So this just highlights it. Obviously the main instinct for a lot of newbies, they think there's going to be another goal, so hey, let's go in on this one and pretty much let's just have a bet. But really, if you go in on this market and be a little bit more clever, then there is a lot more money which could potentially be made. So that's just something to keep in mind. That is how you can look to the alternate goal markets to increase the profit potential that you want to play with. Because I know for me, if I think that this match has more goals in it, then if I've got £100 stake, I don't really want to put it in to try and make a 60% return. I'd rather put it in here and just have a lot more potential profit potential to play with. So there you have it. There's just a quick example of that. So here is an example of that. Copenhagen, strong favourite in this one. Zvezda down to 10 men as well. It's 71 minutes. If you're looking at that match and you think, hey, there's probably only one more goal in it, and it's probably going to go to the favourite. So if Copenhagen are going to win, they're going to win by a scoreline of 2-1. Now, back in Copenhagen in the match odds market, £100 stake is going to give you £176 worth of profit potential, because obviously you're probably going to trade out and cash out as football traders. But if you looked to the 2-1 scoreline, £100 gives you £245 of profit potential to play with. So it's giving you a much higher profit potential to play with. Now, one of the downsides could be that Copenhagen go 2-1 ahead very, very quickly, and then you might not be able to lock in as much profit as you would if you back them on the match odds market. But of course, I mean, what you could do as well, you could split it. I mean, you could go half and half. You could put 50 on Copenhagen in the match odds market, and then do something like putting 50 on the correct score as well, which if that was to come in pretty late, maybe Copenhagen win it after 85 minutes or score after 85 minutes anyway, then yeah, you're going to potentially boost your profit and maximize your profit. So as some may know, I've done a similar video on this on the channel, which I'm going to try and link to in the top corner. Hopefully that comes up round about now. But that is the main idea. If you want to maximize your profits, look to other markets. I mean, in here, look, Copenhagen to win 2.84. Whereas in the correct score market, a fair bit higher, 3.4. So I know what I'd probably rather like to be back in this sort of situation here. So I hope that makes a lot more sense now. And like I said, this is definitely for the more experienced football trader. But it's you know, if you're not experienced yet, it's good to watch this and get all these ideas in your head. But I mean, no matter what, you should always be in a habit of just flicking through the markets and seeing what other prices are available. Because like I said, with the goal markets, I mean, if you fancy that there could be more goals, instead of just going in for one more goal, maybe look for the 2 extra goals or the 3 extra goals market, and you can increase your overall profit potential that way as well. So we're going to get into tip number 3, and tip number 3 is the big one, is the really, really good one as well. But before we do that, I just want to quickly urge you, if you haven't done this already, to download a free copy of this. This is the 7 Steps to Football Trading Success cheat sheet. It's a free PDF. The link to this is in the description. I'm also going to leave the link to this in the comments as well. You just click on the link, and then you fill in your email address, and you're going to get it emailed to you right away. And you really, really need this. If you've got any sort of interest in football trading and trying to become a better football trader and you like all the stuff on this channel, then you need this. You need to definitely need to have a good read of this. Lots of people have downloaded this already and really enjoyed it and found it helpful. And also, if you like football trading videos or sports trading in general, you find it interesting, hit the subscribe button for this channel. Press it right now. I'll wait for you. Press it, and then also hit that notification bell that comes up, and that will mean that when you get all the new videos, when there is a new video, you're going to get a notification to let you know, and you can watch it straight away. Very, very important that you do that, because sometimes I put up some videos for a limited time only, and I would hate for you to miss out on those. So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well. But let's move on to tip number 3. And this is where it is going to start to get into the really advanced territory. If you're a newbie and you've watched tips number 1 and 2 and you're already thinking, oh, yeah, not sure about that, then tip number 3 is going to be very, very interesting. Okay, now tip number 3 to maximize your profits is you're going to leverage the profit potential. And this can mean you're going to be going all in on certain outcomes. And when I say going all in, I don't mean all in with your bank or anything like that. We're still going to keep this low risk. But what you're going to be doing is putting yourself in a position to potentially win more than your original profit potential for no further risk. Okay, so if your original profit potential when you entered the market was £100, then by using the techniques I'm about to show you in the live demonstrations, you could potentially lock in more than the £100 without risking any more money in the market. Okay, you're not risking any more money in the market at all. And no, I haven't got crazy. I'm actually going to show you how to do it right now. But similarly to tip number 1, you have to be prepared to lose in order to win, or at least in this case, be prepared to break even in order to win. So let me just give you a quick live demonstration of exactly that right now. So we're involved in this match, HJK Helsinki against Riga from the Europa League, okay? Now, what's happened in this one is we laid Helsinki when it was 1-0 to Helsinki. We laid them at 1.31 with a £100 stake. Gives us £100 of profit potential. Okay, now we've got the equalizer that we want, right? So you'd think, hey, we could just lock that in, that's £60 of profit, which is a nice return on the risk, okay? But obviously what I'm going to show you, a little bit more advanced and a little bit more something that the average newbie wouldn't want to do. But it's almost like a double or nothing. We're going to leverage the profit potential we have on Riga and the draw to give us a potentially even bigger win on Helsinki should they go on to win. Now, as you can see, I had £100 of profit potential on Riga and the draw, but we've just placed that right on Helsinki. Ignore all that. I was trying to do some tennis trades as well as recording this video. I'm trying to do it all today. But if you have a look at that now look at this. We've got £200 of green sitting on Helsinki. And obviously, we're going to be break even if this match remains a draw or if Riga goes on to win. So this can be a great option if you feel like, hey, do you know what? We laid Helsinki because we thought the equalizer was going to come, and then it did. But now we fancy Helsinki are going to go on and win, because that's how it can work in football. I mean, it can flip around just like that. 1 minute you think a team's going to concede an equalizer. Now we think they're going to go on and win. And you've got a good chance of, I mean, like you can see here, it was around a £60 cash out. But that is more than tripling the potential profit and making more than 100% of what our original profit potential was. And I mean, our risk was originally £30, so it's a lot bigger there as well. So there's just an example. It was just laying Helsinki at 1.31. Instead of cashing out and taking the money, we've put all the profit potential that was on the other outcomes back on Helsinki and given us a chance for what would be a nice little windfall if Helsinki were to go back ahead in this one. And there's plenty of time for that to happen. So like I said, much more advanced, and you have to be prepared to not win anything from the trade if you're going to take this approach right here. And Helsinki have been the better team, and they've been pretty well rewarded for it as well. So what we can do is we can now cash out. Now Helsinki have taken the lead, and we're going to be able to lock in a profit of, well, we're going to leave like 170 on Helsinki. I mean, if I was to press the cash out button, it's going to equal it to 169 altogether. But let's just call it 170 pounds of profit made on that trade. Now, think about how this trade developed. I mean, we laid Helsinki. Original risk in the market was £31. So can't even do the calculation off the top of my head right now, but that £170 locked in is a pretty good return on the original risk, okay? Now, obviously, what we did, we laid Helsinki 1.31. When it went to 1-1, we then leveraged the profit potential that was on the other outcomes to put it all on Helsinki, okay? We were all in on Helsinki, and we were in a situation where if they didn't score and take the lead, then we weren't going to make anything. We were going to break even, and you have to be prepared for that outcome. But if they do take the lead, we've increased our profit potential. And, well, when you think about the profit potential when we entered this trade was £100, we've actually managed to make more than what the potential was with this more advanced approach. So there you have it. Helsinki 2, Riga 1, and a good example there of leveraging the profit potential out of the trade in order to maximize your profits. And anyway, that is about it for all the real life trading demonstrations of that particular tip. And if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see similar videos like this, then please leave a comment below and let me know. And if there's any particular videos that you want to see, then please leave those in the comments as well. If you struggle with any sort of aspect with sports trading, then let me know. I mean, I'm going to read all the comments. I'm going to try and get all your feedback so I know which videos to produce in future. So yeah, if you like this video, you want to see similar ones like this, or you got another idea, definitely leave a comment below. And in the very near future, there might be a video that's made just for you. So definitely check that out. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that this particular video you might have to watch more than once to kind of take it all in. So yeah, I wouldn't blame you if you want to go back to the start and watch it again. But while you're here, if you do want to see some other sports trading videos, the ones on the screen right now are pretty good and they're worth a watch too. And if you didn't subscribe earlier on in the video, here's another chance. Just press that button, hit the notification bell so you get all the new videos as soon as they come out. All right, that is about it. I'm going to see you in the next video.